Hi guys, my name is Chef V. I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and chef, and one of the founders of Two Taste, where we teach people how to take healthy foods and cook them to their taste. As a registered dietitian nutritionist, I'm able to teach people how to select foods that are healthy. And then as a chef, I'm able to teach people how to prepare those foods in a delicious way. We firmly believe anyone can cook and anyone can take control of their health through cooking. So, in these coming weeks, as you watch these nutrition education lessons and attend our cooking demos, that is exactly what we plan to teach you. Okay, before we get started with this first lesson, I want you to make sure you have something to take notes with. So whether you want to grab a paper and pen or another device, go ahead and pause this video and do that now. Okay. Hi, welcome back. If you left, you might not have, you might have already had something. But today we are going to discuss MyPlate. I'm so curious, of course I can't see your responses, but I'm wondering how many of you have heard of MyPlate before? If nothing else, you've probably seen the image hung up in your cafeteria, would be my guess. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is this thing, MyPlate. So MyPlate is a great tool. It's a really easy and quick visual that shows us not only what to eat, but how much to eat at each meal. So it displays the 5 food groups: fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. When you look at this plate, is there something that stands out to you? I know there is to me, and that's fruits and vegetables cover half the plate. So think about your meals and how you eat. Are you covering half your plate in fruits and vegetables? What about your family members or your friends? So don't feel bad if you're like, nope, not at all, because most Americans are not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So that's something we hope to teach you and to stress over these next few weeks, because by following my plate and then becoming more aware of portion sizes, you're going to be on your way to fuel a healthy mind and body. Okay, so in addition to my plate, we also like to talk about this other plate. It's called the Healthy Eating Plate. It's by Harvard. So it's a little different than my plate. They've added on a few changes. So I want to see if you can find the differences. So go ahead and pause this video and write down any differences that you see between the two plates. Okay, let's see if you wrote down everything that I found. So here we go. So did you notice that grains and protein got a little more specific, right? So it says whole grains rather than just grains. Protein now says healthy protein over here. Our cup of dairy turned into a cup of water. It doesn't mean you're not supposed to have dairy. Just the healthy eating plate wants to emphasize water as a beverage at all your meals. Did you notice the vegetables and fruit? So they flip-flop, right? Vegetables now on top, but that wasn't the main difference. Look, vegetables grew even more. You're supposed to eat even more vegetables. Hope I have a bunch of veggie lovers watching right now and you're cheering rather than saying, eek, I don't want to eat more vegetables. Don't worry, we're going to teach you how to make them yummy and delicious. And then notice over here, there's actually healthy oils listed. So that's different. And then finally, there's a note to stay active because physical activity is very important when it comes to being healthy overall. So here's a real world example of what exactly that would look like, right, on a plate. So we have a bean and cheese taco meal here with some salad and watermelon. And notice not all the food groups are separated, right? Like we have a grain and protein and dairy all within this taco. Um, Note that because I'm going to ask you those questions later. So it doesn't actually have to be like in the different compartments. You don't have to have dairy in a cup on the side over here. I mean, in fact, your meal doesn't have to be on a plate, right? It could be in a bowl. Maybe you're eating some sort of casserole or eating a soup where essentially all the food groups are mixed together, or most of the food groups, or you're drinking a smoothie that has like 3 food groups in it. So my plate is just a guide. So don't think you have to be stuck into putting, like, I put my protein here and my grains here and my fruits here and vegetables here. It's really just a guide and a good visual to remember. So I want y'all right now to take a mental snapshot of this picture, like memorize everything you see, or to make it even easier, just snap a picture with your phone so you can refer back to this image throughout the lesson, because I am going to ask you a few questions about it. Okay, now that we've covered an overview of MyPlate, let's take a look at the individual food groups. So let's start with grains. So grains should cover slightly over 1/4 of your plate. Not all grains, though, are created equal. There is a goal to make half of your grains whole grains. So what is a whole grain? That's what this image shows. So I want you to notice there's a whole grain on this side, right? And then what's called a refined grain on the other side. So the whole grain has three parts. It has the bran, this outer layer. It's filled with fiber and B vitamins and minerals, also super important to help us feel full and keep our stomachs healthy. Then we have the endosperm over here in the middle, this really big part. It's mainly starchy carbohydrate, but also has some protein and vitamins. And this gives us energy and strength. And then lastly, we have this small little guy on the bottom, kind of looks like a kidney bean. It's called the germ. And it is super nutrient packed. It's got B vitamins, vitamin E, phytochemicals, and healthy fats. These nutrients help keep our blood, nervous system, and immune system healthy. So all very important. Now, look at this refined grain. Do you notice what was removed or what's left? We lost all of our fiber in the bran, and we lost the healthy fats and phytochemicals and vitamins from the germ. And we're just left with the endosperm. So it's not that the carbs, the carbohydrates are bad, right? We need that for energy. But your body wants this whole grain intact. It does so much more for you and will help sustain that energy throughout the day. So you're probably thinking, okay, but what are whole grains and refined grains? Do you have any examples of those? So let me show you a few. I have some white grains over here. I don't know why I put it on the floor, but here we go. So I have some white pasta, right? Just some like regular white pasta. I have some thin spaghetti noodles. And then I have some Cheez-It crackers. So a lot of those like popular snack foods, these are refined grains. So they're not going to be the healthiest choices for you. And then some goldfish crackers. You can find these in whole grain, but this version is not, unfortunately. So eating too many of these refined grains isn't good for our heart or blood or brain or energy levels. And it's not to say that you can never eat them. I would never tell you that. I mean, I clearly keep white pasta, right, in my pantry. I do like to prepare this every now and then. Remember, the goal is to make at least 50% of your grains whole grain. Another example is white tortillas, right? They're delicious. I love them too. But when I'm cooking at home, I do try to cook with the whole grain tortillas more often and enjoy the white tortillas at restaurants or more on occasion. Those snack foods I showed you, I personally don't purchase. These are from a birthday party. But again, if you want to eat something like this, just remember that 50% goal. Like you want to try to make 50% of your grains whole so that you're eating more nutritiously and you're doing better for your body. So when you're grocery shopping or cooking at home, choose foods that say whole. So they're going to say whole wheat or whole grain. For example, whole wheat bread, whole wheat tortillas, whole grain pasta, whole grain crackers. Pretty much everything is made whole grain now. But you have to be careful. So food manufacturers are kind of out to get you. That sounds so mean, but they do try to trick you. So they'll call something wheat, or which is correct, but it's not whole wheat. Or it might say made with whole grains. That doesn't mean then that it is truly a whole grain product. It just means it could have like 10% whole grains in it. So be careful with that. So aside from those whole wheat products I just mentioned, I want to show you some other types of whole grains. So right here, I have something called quinoa. Have y'all heard of quinoa before? It's an ancient grain. It's pretty trendy now. You can buy it in Walmart, so it's available almost everywhere. And then I have some old-fashioned oats right here. Any oatmeal counts as a whole grain. Delicious for the morning. Popcorn. Did you know popcorn is a whole grain? Did you get excited about that? So when you're eating popcorn, You're getting whole grains. How cool is that? Now, of course, you don't want to douse them in a ton of butter, but know that popcorn really is a great healthy snack. And then finally, I have another example right here, brown rice. And I know that a lot of you probably are used to just eating the white rice, but I would encourage you to try brown. It has a nice nutty flavor, so it is a little different, but you can prepare it in different ways. I've even made Spanish rice with brown rice. So just something to think about and maybe consider trying. So all these whole grains, they give us fiber and vitamins and minerals that promote health. So back to that taco example. Remember I told you to take that mental snapshot or take a picture. What food was in the grain group in that picture? That's right, the tortilla. The tortilla in our picture was a white tortilla, right? So a better option would have been a whole grain tortilla or a whole grain corn tortilla. Those are both delicious, great options that we could do. Okay, so now that we've talked about grains, let's move on to protein. Okay, back to our slideshow. So notice that protein covers slightly less than 1/4 of the plate. Protein's important for so many different functions in our body. It helps with our nervous system, our blood, helps with muscle, bone, hair, nails, teeth, immune system, digestion, and energy levels. It helps with all of that. So what are some examples of protein? It's helpful to divide protein into two categories. So there's basically animal-based proteins, right? And plant-based proteins. So let's take a look at some animal-based proteins. Fish, eggs, poultry, dairy. Actually, that's a little confusing. For like, wait, I thought dairy was its own food group. It is, but it also provides protein. And then meats are also going to be good sources of protein. Now, when we're kind of deciding like which are best, there is sort of a hierarchy in the protein world of meats. So seafood is really kind of like at the higher end, like a better option. And then it's going to be the white meats, right? And then lastly is the red meat. So we do want to try to limit red meat. So when I say red meats, I'm referring to steak, hamburgers, ground beef, pork, and goat, right? These are all examples of red meat. And we want to limit those as well as processed meats. Processed meats are like hot dogs, sausage, bologna, pepperoni, and bacon. While a lot of these foods are delicious, right? They're typically high in saturated fat, which is a fat that's really bad for our hearts, unfortunately. And they can be high in sodium and just other compounds that aren't good for our health. So if you do choose to eat these like red meats and processed meats, try to limit, right? Limit your portion size or how frequently you eat them. And then choose leaner cuts with less saturated fat. Okay, let's take a look at some plant-based proteins. Did you know you could get protein from plants? You sure can. And right here is one of our favorites at Two Taste, beans. We love beans. So beans are a great source of protein, as are lentils. If you had lentils before, there's a ton of different varieties. Something to look for in the grocery store. They cook faster than dried beans, and you don't have to soak them. So they're pretty fun to cook with. Nuts are another great example of a plant-based protein, pepita seeds, right? Or sunflower seeds, tofu. How many of you had tofu before? Anyone? I actually love tofu, and so do my little boys. We eat it a lot in Asian food applications. And then finally, these are little chia seeds down here. You might not have heard of that, but they're also a good source of plant-based protein. So what's great about plant-based proteins, they not only provide you with protein, but they also give you the benefits from eating a plant. So that includes fiber and then vitamins and minerals and lower amounts of, you're not going to find that saturated fat, right? The fat that's bad for your heart. Okay, so in our taco example, remember you have that image up or looking at your phone. What ingredient was in the protein food group? That's right, the beans. Good job. Okay, so now that we know about protein, let's learn about dairy. Here we go. Back to our slideshow. So dairy, it's kind of funny, it's a little cup off to the side, huh? So dairy is this little circle off to the right. It does not have to be on the side, like I mentioned before. It could totally be on the plate, especially if it's like in the form of cheese, right? So what are some examples of dairy? Milk, cheese, and yogurt, right, are all great. Um, with yogurt, you can get plain varieties, or there's also Greek varieties that have become pretty popular now. Um, when you're shopping for yogurt, you do want to choose low fat or fat free options and look for either plain or there are some new like they're called just low sugar, not ones that are made with artificial sweeteners. We don't want y'all to consume those as growing children, but sorry, I don't want to call you children. Y'all are like almost adults, right? But we don't want you to have those artificial sweeteners. So there are some though that have lower sugar. I know Chobani is for one, and I think there's another. I know Siggi's, and there's some other brands out there you can look for. But I would encourage you to try the plain, and if it's too tart for you, sweeten it yourself with honey or a little bit of fruit. Both would be good. For milk, also, you're going to want to choose the low fat or fat free versions. Okay, so in our taco example, what was the source of dairy? That's right, the cheese, right? Very good. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our last two food groups, fruits and vegetables. And for this lesson, we're going to group them together because you're going to have two separate lessons coming up that just focus on fruits and then one that just focuses on vegetables. Okay, so here we go. So fruits and vegetables covering half the plate, right? So you want to vary your fruits and vegetables for best nutrition. Um, Overall, fruits and veggies, they help build strong bones. Did you know that? Does that sound crazy? You always think of dairy, but fruits and vegetables do it too. Keep your eyes, skin, and blood healthy and help fight and prevent diseases. There are so many different types and categories of fruits and vegetables, and each one offers its own set of benefits. So the way to make sure you're getting the most benefit you can is to aim to eat a variety of colors. So I have some examples right here, different colors, right? Nice, beautiful orange. I have a red bell pepper, and look at them together. Like I'm making a rainbow over here, right? And then I have a green zucchini. So when you're eating different fruits and vegetables, try to make a variety of colors. Try to build a rainbow on your plate. Make it fun. So we kind of like to group the colors into red and then orange and yellow, green, and then blue and purple. So I'm wondering if you can think of any other examples that I didn't show you. So pause this video and write down more examples of red, orange and yellow, green, and blue and purple fruits and vegetables and see how many you can come up with. Okay, did you list a lot? I hope you did. There are endless fruits and vegetables. When you're at the grocery store, pick up a new one and try it. It can be fun. So one thing I do need to note for fruits and vegetables, we got to talk about French fries and tater tots and potato chips real quick. So yes, they come from a potato, which is a vegetable, but when you deep fat fry it like that, you lose the benefit. So it's really no longer healthy. I am not telling you you can never eat French fries again, but when you eat French fries or potato chips or tater tots, know that they don't count as your vegetable, right? So you need to eat another vegetable alongside with it. Get like a leafy green salad with it, and that way you can still enjoy some fries. Okay, in our taco example, which ingredients are part of the fruit and vegetable food groups? Great, yes. The salad greens, the salsa, the watermelon, and even the beans. So see how those beans are super cool? They count as a protein and a vegetable, which is awesome. Okay, so that is all of the food groups on my plate, but we want to go back to the healthy Harvard eating plate and talk about those few foods, well, I'll say the oils in the water, right, that weren't discussed on my plate. So healthy fats and oils are very important. They are good for our skin, our heart, and our brain health. So you can find healthy fats and oils in avocado, in walnuts, in fatty fish, in seeds. and also in extra virgin olive oil. These are all great choices. Have you cooked with any of these foods or do you enjoy them at home? If oil is solid at room temperature, like butter or shortening or lard, that means it's high in saturated fat, which again is that fat that's not very good for our heart. So we do want to limit consuming those types of fat. In our taco example, which ingredient provides healthy fats? Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there because that was actually kind of a trick question. You can't see it. So sorry about that, but it's the salad dressing. So if you had salad dressing, right, to put on your leafy greens, some people even just like to drizzle like extra virgin olive oil and then some vinegar with it. I like balsamic vinegar and kind of make their own dressing that way. Okay, so lastly, water, right? Water is important for all of our body's processes. I mean, we're mainly made of water, which you'll learn about in an upcoming lesson. Try to make water your beverage of choice throughout the day. So at meals and, just in between meals as well. You can add some fresh fruit or herbs for flavor to make it fun. But we'll talk a lot more about water and different drinks in an upcoming lesson. Okay, so now I want to talk about portion sizes. And I'm actually going to stop my share just for a second. Okay, so because we now know about the 5 main food groups, we want to talk a little bit about portion sizes. So to build a healthy plate, it's first important to actually think about the size of your plate. So imagine if you were building your meal on this tiny little plate. Does that make sense? No, it'd be like a little dinner meal for a mouse. That'd be crazy. But then also imagine you had a dinner plate this size. Do you see this? So I have these dinner plates and we never eat off them. I actually use them as platters because they are so big. You really want to aim for a dinner plate that's about 8 to 9 inches in diameter. Like this cool Hercules plate I have, it's about the perfect size. This will help make sure you get the proper portion sizes. Okay, so now we're going to talk about just like visuals for like how much fruit do I eat in a portion or how much grain. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video in just a minute. You need to listen to these instructions first. I'm going to share my screen again, get back that list that you saw. And what I want you to do is go find these items. Now, if you don't have them, that's okay. You can try to find something that's of a similar size, or you can just, imagine it in your head. But to make it fun and to get you, a little bit of exercise, we'd love for you to participate in this. So go ahead and hit pause and then come back with your items. Okay, great. Did you find everything? I found most of it. So let me go ahead and share what I found. Okay, so first, so technically this isn't a soccer ball. It is a volleyball, but that's because my dog attacks our soccer balls in the backyard, so they're a little bit destroyed. But it's about the same size. So a soccer ball should be about the same size in diameter of your plate. If you don't have a soccer ball, another thing you can look at is your forearm. That should be about the size of the plate that you eat off. Okay, did y'all find a baseball? That's the one I don't have. I have softballs, which are a little too big, but you can also get a visual by doing your fist, right? So a baseball is the serving size of 1 cup of vegetables, okay? So when you're looking at vegetables, you can try to picture your fist or a baseball. And you want to aim to eat 2 to 3 cups a day. That doesn't mean you have to eat 1 cup in a full sitting. You can break that up however you want to throughout the day. But just note, right? So if you're like, okay, this is 1 cup, then you would know about half your fist is half a cup or half a baseball. Okay, next, folded socks. Did y'all find that? I have some cool llama socks right here. So this is the serving size of fruit. This is about a half cup portion, right? About half a cup. So you want to aim to eat 1.5 to 2 cups of fruit a day. I feel like that's easy it should be easy for a lot of you. It's so delicious, right? If you eat dried fruit, a 1/4 cup actually counts as half a cup. And that's something that's really great. You can like throw in your backpack really easily. If you couldn't find a pair of socks, your feet must be really cold. Haha, just kidding. But you can also use the size like a cupped hand, right? Cupped palm, that's about half a cup as well. Okay, we found a deck of cards. That one I just dropped my dice. That one I did find. So I have a deck of cards. This is a portion size for protein. So it's about 3 to 4 ounces of meat. Isn't that crazy? Because if you think about the chicken breasts, like in the grocery store, they're like double this. But this can also be the palm of your hand. Do you see how the deck of cards fits in my palm? So 3 to 4 ounces of meat. You want to try to get 5 to 6 ounces total in a day. That's all you need. 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of nut butter, half an ounce of nuts, or a quarter cup of beans. All count as 1 ounce of protein. Okay. Who found a tennis ball? This is not a tennis ball, I know, but it's similar in size. This is one of my dog's fetching toys. This is a serving size of 1 ounce of grains. So you want to try to eat 5 to 7 ounces of grain per day. You're probably like, what is an ounce of grain, right? So that's like 1 slice of bread, a quarter of a bagel. Bagels are so big. Half a cup of cooked oats, pasta, or rice. Those all count as 1 grain. And if you couldn't find a tennis ball, it's about the size of a cupped palm again. Okay. Last, did you get a dice, a marble, pencil eraser? I found a dice. So 3 dice would equal 1 ounce of cheese, and 1 ounce of cheese is a serving of dairy. So that'd be 3 of these. You can also go by your thumb. So if I took like 1, 2, 3, see how my thumb is about 3 dice? Dice? How do you say that? So that would be 1 ounce of cheese. That's hard, right? I don't know about you, but I love cheese. I might want to eat more than that. But it's good to know those portion sizes and try to stick to them. So as you try to get used to measuring out portion sizes and thinking about it, you can use these visuals as a guide. You can always refer back to this lesson, or I should have told you to take a picture of that screen. But anything you want to do to help guide you. So whether it's easier to remember like a cupped palm, or if it's easier to remember the tennis ball, either way is great. Okay, so we have covered a lot today, guys. We hope that you've learned some helpful tips for building a balanced, healthy plate customized to your taste. So I wanted to conclude by summarizing a few points. Oh, and there's that list again. If you would like to take a picture, you can. Of course, you can always pause this show at any point. And let's go through those key takeaways. So make at least half of your grains whole grain. Make half of your plate vegetables and fruit. Choose lean proteins and choose nuts, seeds, and beans more often. Choose low-fat dairy for healthy bones. Okay. Oh, sorry, I've got 2 more in there. Include healthy fats and oils as part of your diet, and then drink water with meals and throughout the day. So to apply your knowledge, we want you to take a few minutes right now. So I'm going to walk through first how to draw the MyPlate with you, but then after this video, you can either end it or just pause it, whichever works best for you. We want you to draw MyPlate and then come up with a meal. So if you need to go grab another piece of paper, or even better, if you have a paper plate, that would be awesome. I unfortunately do not have one, so I drew a circle on a piece of paper. But you can pause the video, go grab another piece of paper or plate as needed. And then when you're back, what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw MyPlate. So notice I drew a circle, right, on my piece of paper right here. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I have a pen or a marker. So I'm gonna draw a line down the middle, just like that. So y'all do that too. And then we're really gonna copy this image that's on the screen. So I wanna draw, almost split my left side in half with the vegetables a little bigger, and then kind of the opposite on the other side, right? There's my, right? Vegetables, fruits and vegetables. And then the grains and protein, divide that sort of in half. And then I'm gonna draw a circle out to the side. And that circle is terrible. Okay, so go ahead and label all of your compartments. Apologize for my handwriting because I'm doing this very quickly. Just like that. And then within, my dairy is disappearing, there we go. And then within each of those food groups on your plate, we want you to come up with a meal idea, right? So like for our taco example, I would write like a whole wheat tortilla, and I could write down here, like, I'm gonna fill it with a combination of chicken and beans, right? Or I could just put it over here, whatever you wanna do. And I'm gonna have some cheese on top, and then I want a side of mango. I wish it's not the right season right now. And for vegetables, I'm going to have a beautiful big salad. So I would just write those food items on this plate. When you're done with that, we want you to take a picture of your plate and email it to yesdallas@texashealth.org. And then we'd also encourage you to talk to your family about preparing that meal at home. Okay, well, I hope you have a great rest of the day and that you can build some healthy My Plates to your taste at home. See you next time. Bye.